What's up, black and white photo 2 class? I hope it doesn't sound too windy. I'm sorry that I missed class on Thursday. I was really depressed and lying in bed, if I'm being straight up and honest. But I'm better now, doing better now. So this video is about Roland Barthes chapters 9 and 12. Alright, video cut. I just moved to my dorm. Video cut to me talking about Roland Barthes chapters 9 to 12. I'm in the elevator now. I'm just so excited to talk about Roland. So I'm not gonna lie, guys. It would be so much easier to talk about this book with you guys. Cause like, what is bro on about? His chapters, they're hella short. Chapter 1 is literally 1 page. He introduces us to the shit. Literally, he opens and he's like, guys, I just saw a picture of Napoleon's little brother. Dude, you're literally looking at a dude who knew Napoleon. Bro's just saying in chapter 1, I freaking loved photography. I want to learn everything about it, how I can use it to achieve invoking that feeling into other people, you know? And then in chapters 2, he starts that chapter with, who can help me with this shit? Who can help me do this? He's like, photography evades us. First of all, I don't know what that means.
What could he mean by photography evades us? The various distributions we impose upon it are in fact either empirical or rhetorical. Empirical being professionals or amateurs, and rhetorical being landscapes, objects, portraits, or nudes. Oh, hello, Hollis. JK. Or aesthetic being realism or pictorialism.
Huh?
The photograph mechanically repeats what could never be repeated existentially. Basically, it seems like he's saying, you can recreate, sorry, I'm playing with a pen. You can recreate photography, like, dude, like, this is so freaking cool, it's new, you can do it as an amateur, as a professional, you can do this and this and this, you can do whatever. And see, this is, again, why I wish I was with you guys, because we could bounce off each other, because I could be wrong and just reading this wrong. But I want to look at chapters 9 and 12. So chapter 9, in particular, had two photographs attached to it. And I really liked chapters 9 and 12 because they tied to history in a way. And so again, relating back to chapter 1, he starts chapter 9 and he says, I was glancing through an illustrated magazine and a photograph made him pause. But unlike Napoleon's little brother, he's like, there's nothing extraordinary about the picture. It was just a ruined street, 2 helmeted soldiers on patrol, and behind them 2 nuns. He was questioning if the photograph pleased him, or interested him, or intrigued him, and he's like, not even.
Bruh.
Guys, look at this photo. I think it's a pretty cool photo. Like, look at that guy's face, y'all. That nun, looking at it, I think, okay. But it doesn't matter what I think. We're trying to know what.
À des mains expertes et qui, même si les coûts ont baissé, reste en France naturellement ultra rush. Pour une opération du nez par exemple,
Whatever.
Rhinoplastie, c'est ultra courant. Il faut
The existence of this picture exists because of the presence of 2 discontinuous elements that do not belong in the same world, in his mind. Or the fact that they should not belong in the same world, but they do because of this situation that is being photographed. The nuns on one hand and the soldiers on the other. And it's like, he says he's not intrigued by it. But he understands its existence. And then he goes on to look at another picture of the same reporter. The reporter is a Dutchman named Cohen Wessing. And I believe both of these pictures both of them were taken in 1979 in Nicaragua. Let's see the way that Roland describes it. A mother and daughter sob over their father's arrest. And this happens out in the countryside. Here on a torn up pavement, a child's corpse is under a white sheet. Parents and friends stand around it, desolate. But he says, my rule applied all the more closely in that other pictures from the same reportage were less interesting to me. They were fine shots, but they expressed the dignity and horror of rebellion. But in Roland's eyes, they expressed no mark or sign, and their homogeneity remained cultural. So let me show you the second one. So this is the second one. This one's pretty horrible as well. The boot is just like off the child's foot, just like sitting there. And then like, it almost looks like it was like set up. Like you could even believe like these guys like shot and killed the child and then like set it up, like set this kid on the ground and put a sheet over him, ready to be found by the family. But I do also find it interesting that I'm like drawn to this chapter because I don't know if you guys remember, but my photographer that I chose early in the semester was Martha Holmes, who was also a photojournalist, photographer. And so she kind of did similar photography, not like war. Let's go on to chapter 12. And it mentions historical background of photos. It's a very short paragraph, but he kind of dives into subjects in photos and how they can lead your understanding of a photograph, which I love. I love understanding the background of a photograph from people inside of it. But so then he starts talking about this photo by a dude named William Klein. The photograph is called May Day, 1959, in Moscow. And he says, he teaches me how Russians dress. It says, I note a boy's big cloth cap, another necktie, an old woman's scarf around her head. How long were fingernails worn in a certain period? Photographs can tell you this better than painted portraits. This eventually leads us into chapter 13. But that's not my chapter. I know that was either Chloe's or Hollis's. So yeah, photography can be used. The last sentence of this chapter is, photography has the same relation to history that the biographeme has to biography. So when I looked up what does biographeme mean, he kind of coined this term. A biographeme is a small but significant detail or snapshot of a person's life, which I think works pretty well with what Roland is trying to say here. It's literally what a photograph is to history. Like, what a photograph is to history is what a biographeme is to biography. A photograph is a small snapshot of history that you can use to aid you in your understanding of a certain event or a certain person or whatever. So like this image here that he's analyzing here, let me see if I can, there, is helping him better understand what it's like to be in Moscow in 1959. The woman's scarf, the young boy's cap. It's helping him understand what culture may have looked like in Moscow in 1959. Photography is not always the truth, so you do have to be careful. But a lot of the time it can be very useful, as Roland is saying here. So, yeah, that's mostly what my input is on the Roland Barthes reading. I would have loved to hear what you guys had to say on this reading as well. I thought his stuff was pretty interesting. The photos he chose were super cool. Honestly, my type of shit. Definitely gonna look into the photographers that he chose. But yeah, I really missed you guys. I should have gone to class, and yeah. Slay, I'm looking forward to Silver Eye on Tuesday. So yeah. Peace out. See you guys.